You pause in the dim glow of a medieval manuscript, its pages stained with the ink of concealed carnage. Did you know that during the Crusades' holy wars, knights sworn to purity orchestrated hidden atrocities, massacres of thousands, women and children slaughtered in cold blood, their bones buried beneath sanctified soil? What if these forgotten massacres weren't mere accidents of war, but deliberate erasures to preserve a myth of righteousness? Feel the tension build as we peel back the layers, exposing the conspiratorial silence around these horrors. Join me in this suspenseful journey through the Crusades' shadowed underbelly, where every revelation pulls you deeper into the abyss. You pause in a dimly lit scriptorium, the air heavy with the scent of aged vellum and flickering candlelight, your fingers brushing against a medieval manuscript that hums with secrets of the Crusades' hidden atrocities behind holy wars. In 1095, Pope Urban II's voice thundered at Clermont, summoning knights and peasants alike with promises of divine salvation. His words a poetic spark igniting a firestorm of zeal that would scorch the earth. You sensed the weight of his call, not just a summons to reclaim Jerusalem, but a veiled license for chaos, where faith's fervor masked darker impulses. As you trace the inked lines, the parchment seems to whisper of forgotten massacres, where crusaders' swords carved not just victory but unspeakable horrors, their deeds buried in conspiratorial silence. Picture the crowds at Clermont, their eyes alight with divine purpose, yet oblivious to the ominous fractures forming zealots like Peter the Hermit stirring mobs into a frenzy, their footsteps toward the Holy Land already stained with the blood of the innocent. The manuscript's margins hide these truths, their edges curling like secrets suppressed by chroniclers who wove myths of glory over grim realities. You feel the suspense build, a slow burn rhythm as Urban's mythic aura looms, not as a mere pope, but a spectral architect of a movement that would unravel into betrayal. The Crusades, cloaked in sanctity, were no mere holy wars. They were a tapestry of erased slaughters, where faith justified frenzy. As you linger, the candles flame gutters, casting shadows that dance like ghosts of those silenced Jewish communities. Byzantine allies, entire cities reduced to ash. Each page you turn peels back time, revealing the poetic paradox of a divine quest that birthed nightmares. What did Urban know of the chaos his words would unleash? Did he foresee the rivers of red that would flow in God's name? The manuscript offers no answers, only an eerie invitation to step deeper into the mystery, where each revelation promises to unravel the sanctified lies. You're drawn to the next shadow, the People's Crusade, where the first cracks in this holy facade widen, hinting at the massacres to come. The air grows colder, the scriptorium silence oppressive, as if history itself warns you to tread carefully through these veiled corridors. The forgotten atrocities of the Crusades beckon, their truths demanding to be unearthed, each step a descent into a conspiratorial abyss where faith and fury collide. Will you follow the whispers to uncover what lies beyond the parchment stains, or will the weight of these hidden horrors hold you back? The path forward is fraught with suspense, each revelation a cliffhanger pulling you toward the shadowed march of the unordained. You tread the muddy paths of 1096 Europe, where the air hums with the fervent chants of Peter the Hermit's ragtag army, a swelling tide of peasants and zealots chasing the Crusades' divine promise, yet weaving a tapestry of hidden atrocities behind holy wars. Peter, a wiry preacher with eyes aflame, leads this people's crusade. His voice, a poetic siren, calls stirring souls to march for Jerusalem, but you sense the ominous stirrings beneath their fervor. An unordained horde, disorganized and ravenous, their sanctity fraying like worn cloth. As you follow their shadowed march through villages, the rhythmic clatter of carts and bare feet builds suspense, foreshadowing chaos. These are not knights but common folk, their hands calloused, their hearts ignited by Peter's mythic tales of salvation. Yet blind to the predatory edge, their zeal sharpens. You pause at a crossroads, where their path twists from pilgrimage to plunder innocent Jewish communities. Merchants and farmers fall prey to their swelling wrath, their homes ransacked in a frenzy, cloaked as divine will. The chronicles, you notice, are eerily silent, their pages scrubbed of these early massacres, as if history conspired to veil the first cracks in the Crusades' holy facade. Feel the chill as you witness a village torched, its cries swallowed by the mob's hymns, a paradox of faith turned feral. Peter's mythic aura, once a beacon, now casts long shadows, his leadership a speculative spark for chaos rather than control. Did he intend this descent, or was he swept into the storm he unleashed? The air grows thick with the scent of smoke and fear, each step deeper into Europe's heart, revealing the vulnerability of those caught in this unguided surge. You hear whispers of coming horrors Rhineland's valleys await, where the mob's fervor will birth even darker deeds. The slow burn tension mounts, each rhythmic chant a cliffhanger, pulling you toward the next revelation of erased truths. These forgotten massacres, buried beneath sanctified narratives, pulse with eerie life, demanding you see the human cost of this divine mission. Picture a mother clutching her child, their silhouettes fading into the mob's dust, their fates unwritten in the annals of glory. The People's Crusade, you realize, is no mere prelude but a conspiratorial omen. Its chaos, a mirror to the Holy War's deeper horrors. As you step forward, the ground feels unsteady, the path veering toward Rhineland's silent screams, where the Crusade's hidden atrocities will carve deeper wounds into history's flesh. Will you brave the next shadow, where the mob's zeal meets its first true test? Or will the weight of these veiled betrayals hold you back? The mystery beckons its suspense, a whispered promise of truths yet to unfold. You step into the misty valleys of the Rhine in 1096, where the air grows heavy with the acrid scent of fear and burning timber. As Emico of Flonheim's zealous bands, cloaked in the Crusade's holy wars, unleash hidden atrocities upon Jewish communities, their systematic erasures veiled as pious acts. Emico, a shadowy noble with a fanatic's glint, strides through the fog. His followers, a chaotic swarm, their crosses gleaming like accusations against the vulnerable. You hear the rhythmic clash of steel and desperate cries, each sound a cliffhanger in this slow burn descent into horror, where faith's fervor twists into predatory betrayal. Picture a synagogue's wooden doors splintering, families huddling within, their whispered prayers drowned by the mob's sanctimonious chants, their fate sealed in a frenzy history's chroniclers buried deep. These Rhineland massacres, erased from glorified annals, pulse with eerie life, their silence a conspiratorial shroud over the Crusade's darker truths. You feel the ground tremble as Amico's men sweep through worms and mains, leaving streets slick with the blood of thousands, men, women, children whose only crime was their faith. The poetic paradox stings. A holy mission birthing unholy carnage, its scale hidden by selective scribes who favored tales of chivalric triumph. Did Emico believe his sword served God? Or did ambition cloak his zeal in divine rhetoric? You pause at a riverbank, its waters reflecting the flickering flames of torched homes, the scene a symbolic mirror of sanctity's fracture. The suspense builds as you sense the echoes of these silent screams reverberating beyond the Rhine, foreshadowing greater horrors in the Crusade's shadowed path. The chronicler's omissions, you realize, are no accident but a deliberate veil, preserving the myth of righteous conquest, while burying the human tollmothers, shielding infants, elders pleading for mercy, their voices lost to time. As you linger, the mist thickens, wrapping you in an ominous embrace, urging you to follow the trail to Byzantium, where new betrayals await. These forgotten massacres, woven into the Crusade's fabric, demand you bear witness, their erased stories clawing at the edges of history's parchment. Each step forward feels heavier, the weight of these concealed horrors pulling you deeper into the mystery, where faith and fury entwine in a dance of dread. The People's Crusade's chaos, you see, was but a prelude. Here, the true scale of the Holy War's atrocities begins to unfold, its conspiratorial silence a challenge to unravel. Will you press on to Constantinople's whispered intrigues, or will the Rhine's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's slow burn rhythm beckons, its open loops promising revelations that will peel back the Crusade's sanctified lies, drawing you ever closer to the heart of this dark, poetic abyss. You cross the shimmering Bosporus into the Eastern Empire's golden heart in 1096, where Constantinople's spires pierce the sky, yet the air hums with Byzantine whispers of distrust, a slow-burn prelude to the Crusade's hidden atrocities behind holy wars. Emperor Alexios I, a shrewd sovereign with eyes like polished obsidian, greets the Crusader hordes with a wary alliance, his silken robes masking a growing unease as Peter the Hermit's ragged bands and Emico's zealots flood his city. You feel the rhythmic tension in the bustling Hagia Sophia, where cultural clashes, Latin fervor versus Byzantine subtlety, plant seeds of resentment, their roots twisting toward future treacheries. Picture the emperor's court, its marble halls echoing with veiled negotiations, as Alexios balances hospitality with suspicion, his advisors murmuring of Western greed. The Crusaders, cloaked in holy vows, swagger through markets, their crosses glinting, yet their demands for supplies spark friction, foreshadowing devastations yet to come. You pause at a mosaic-adorned wall, its saints' eyes seeming to judge the uneasy pact, a poetic paradox where faith unites yet divides. Did Alexios sense the chaos these pilgrims would unleash, or was his trust a calculated gamble gone awry? The chronicler's silence on these tensions, you notice, is conspiratorial, glossing over the rift, preserve the myth of unified purpose. As you wander Constantinople's labyrinthine streets, the scent of incense mingles with the tang of unease. Each encounter, crusaders haggling, Byzantines recoiling, building suspense like a tightening coil. The People's Crusades' chaos and Rhineland's screams linger in your mind, their echoes amplifying the ominous undercurrents here, where alliances teeter on betrayal's edge. Imagine a Byzantine mother clutching her child, watching the foreign tide swell, her whispered fears lost in the annals. Much like the erased Jewish lives before, the Crusades' holy facade, you realize, is cracking further, its sanctified narrative hiding the human toll of mistrust and ambition. Each step through the city feels heavier, the weight of impending horrors pulling you toward Nicaea's siege, where the Crusaders' zeal will face its next test. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery tightens. Each rhetorical question, what did Alexios conceal? Who truly profited from this fragile truce? A cliffhanger drawing you into the abyss. The forgotten atrocities, from Rhineland's valleys to Constantinople's halls, weave a continuous thread, their conspiratorial silence demanding you peel back the layers. As the city's gates loom, you sense the Crusaders' departure, their path to Anatolia fraught with the promise of new erasures. Will you follow these shadowed pilgrims? Or will Constantinople's whispers hold you in their eerie grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, beckoning you to uncover the treacheries that await, where the Crusades' holy wars will unravel further into a tapestry of concealed carnage. You stand before the towering walls of Nicaea in 1097, where the Crusades' holy wars cast long shadows over sun-scorched stones, their initial victories cloaking hidden atrocities in a veil of triumph. As the air thrums with the ominous pulse of impending brutality, the Crusader army, now swollen with disciplined knights under Bohemon's cunning gaze, encircles the Seljuk stronghold, their banners fluttering like promises of divine glory. Yet you sense the slow burn suspense beneath their siege, where captives' fates are erased from the annals. Picture the city's defenders, their eyes wide with defiance, families huddled in shadowed alleys, their whispered hopes drowned by the rhythmic clang of catapults and crusader chants. The chroniclers, you notice, weave tales of heroic conquest, but the ground tells a grimmer story, streets soon to be stained, lives snuffed out in silence, their erasure a conspiratorial thread woven into the Crusades' sanctified narrative. Did Bohemond, with his calculating stare, know the cost of his ambition, or was victory's luster his only pursuit? The misty dawn reveals glimpses of horror, prisoners bound, their pleas ignored, as the Crusaders' zeal tips into frenzy, a poetic paradox of faith twisted into ferocity. You pause at the city gates, their iron groaning under assault, each creak a cliffhanger hinting at the Anatolian shadows awaiting beyond. The echoes of Rhineland's screams and Constantinople's distrust linger, their weight amplifying the tension as Nicaea's fall nears, its human toll buried beneath tales of divine favor. Imagine a Seljuk mother shielding her child, their silhouettes fading into the siege's dust, their story unwritten, much like the Jewish lives lost before. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, you realize, are not mere accidents but a pattern, their scale concealed to preserve the myth of righteous war. As you peer through the haze, the city's surrender looms, brokered by Byzantine intrigue, yet the Crusaders' restrained mercy feels like a calculated pause, foreshadowing greater horrors in Antioch's starving vigil. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery tightens each rhetorical question. What became of Nicaea's vanquished? Who silenced their cries? Pulling you deeper into the abyss. The forgotten massacres, from Rhineland's valleys to Nicaea's ruins, pulse with eerie life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step forward feels heavier, the air thick with the scent of smoke and fear, urging you toward the next revelation in this dark poetic tapestry. Will you brave the march to Antioch, where desperation will unravel the Crusaders' humanity further? Or will Nicaea's ominous echoes hold you in their reverent grip? The mythic pulse of this dark, poetic journey quickens, beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where faith's fervor conceals a growing ledger of erased lives and suppressed terrors. You crouch within the shadow of Antioch's ancient battlements in 1098, where the Crusades' holy wars grind into a prolonged siege, the air thick with hunger's bite and the eerie pulse of desperation, concealing hidden atrocities behind the forging of mythic relics like the Holy Lance. The Crusader camp, led by Bohemon's steely resolve, sprawls beneath starless skies, their bodies gaunt, their fervor fraying as months drag on. Each day, a slow-burn torment that strips humanity bare. You hear the rhythmic moans of starving soldiers, their prayers mingling with the clatter of makeshift spears. While inside the city, Syrian families huddle, their whispered fears mirroring those of Nicaea's fallen. Picture a young crusader, his hands trembling as he clutches a dirt-encrusted relic, believing it divine, yet unaware of the darker acts his desperation will birth. The chroniclers, you sense, cloak this siege in tales of miracles, but the ground whispers of survival's cost acts of betrayal, scavenging, and whispered horrors erased to preserve the Crusade's sanctified myth. Did Bohemon's cunning foresee the unraveling of his men's souls, or was the Holy Lance a conspiratorial ploy to rally their fading zeal? The suspense builds as you wander the camp's edges, where skeletal figures barter scraps, their eyes hollow yet burning with divine purpose, a poetic paradox of faith twisted into endurance's grim dance. The echoes of Rhineland's screams, Constantinople's distrust, and Nicaea's veiled brutality linger, weaving a continuous thread of hidden massacres through this holy war's tapestry. Imagine a mother within Antioch's walls, her child's hunger a silent plea, her fate unwritten as the Crusaders' siege tightens, much like the erased lives before. The discovery of the Holy Lance, you realize, is no mere triumph, but a mythic veil, concealing the fraying humanity that foreshadows darker deeds at Ma'ara. Each creak of the city's gates feels like a cliffhanger, pulling you deeper into the mystery of what survival demands when faith falters. The air grows heavy with the scent of decay and desperation. Each step through the camp a descent into the Crusades' shadowed underbelly, where atrocities are buried beneath tales of divine favor. The slow-burn rhythm of this narrative tightens each rhetorical question. What did the Crusaders sacrifice for this relic? Who paid the unspoken price? An open loop urging you toward the next revelation. The forgotten massacres, from Rhineland's valleys to Antioch's ruins, pulse with eerie life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Will you follow the Crusaders to Ma'ara's forbidden hunger, where desperation's edge sharpens into horror, or will Antioch's starving vigil hold you in its ominous grip? The mythic pulse of this dark, poetic journey quickens, beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where faith's fervor hides a growing ledger of erased lives and suppressed terrors. You wander the scorched ruins of Ma'ara in late 1098, where the Crusades' holy wars descend into a chilling abyss, the air thick with the stench of ash and desperation, as Crusaders, driven by famine's cruel grip, confront a speculative veil over unspeakable measures, hidden atrocities, whispered in horrified chronicles, then shrouded to preserve the aura of divine purpose. Bohemon's men, their faces gaunt from Antioch's starving vigil, roam the fallen city, their crosses dulled by dust, yet their hunger sharpens into something feral, a poetic paradox where faith's sanctity frays into survival's grim necessity. You hear the rhythmic crackle of dying fires, each ember a cliffhanger hinting at deeds too dark for the annals, as the Crusaders' desperation pushes them beyond humanity's edge. Picture a young soldier, his hands trembling as he faces choices no prayer can absolve, his eyes haunted by the shadows of Ma'ara's silenced innocents, men, women, children whose fates are erased from the Crusades' glorified tales. The chroniclers, you sense, cloak these horrors in vague illusions, their conspiratorial silence burying acts of survival that defy the myth of holy triumph. Did Bohemond condone this descent, or was he swept into the chaos of his men's unraveling? The ground, littered with broken pottery and abandoned hopes, whispers of families devoured by famine's frenzy, their stories unwritten, much like the Jewish lives of Rhineland or Nicaea's captives. The slow-burn suspense tightens as you step through Ma'ara's shattered streets, each corner revealing the cost of conquest: a mother's empty cradle, a child's forgotten sandal veiled to uphold the Crusades' divine facade. The echoes of Constantinople's distrust, Nicaea's brutality, and Antioch's desperation weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres building toward Jerusalem's looming crimson dawn. You pause at a crumbling wall, its stones seeming to pulse with the weight of suppressed truths, each crack a rhetorical question. What drove these men to such extremes? Who ensured their deeds stayed buried? The air grows heavier, the scent of decay mingling with the eerie silence of a city, stripped bare, urging you toward the next revelation in this dark, poetic tapestry. The Crusades' forgotten atrocities, from Rhineland's valleys to Ma'ara's ruins, pulse with eerie life, their conspiratorial erasure demanding you peel back the layers. Each step feels like a descent into an abyss, where faith and hunger collide, foreshadowing the Holy War's bloodiest chapter yet. Will you follow the Crusaders to Jerusalem, where their zeal will unleash a frenzy of unmatched scale, or will Ma'ara's forbidden hunger hold you in its ominous grip? The narrative's slow-burn rhythm quickens, its open loops beckoning you to uncover the next layer of the Crusades' concealed horrors, where the sanctified narrative unravels further into a ledger of erased lives and suppressed terrors. You ascend the sun-baked ramparts of Jerusalem in 1099, where the Crusades' holy wars reach a fevered crescendo, the air thick with the clash of steel and the acrid scent of blood, as Godfrey of Bouillon's forces breach the sacred city, unleashing a frenzy of hidden atrocities often romanticized, now peeled back to reveal an indiscriminate erasure echoing through concealed papal endorsements. Godfrey, a towering figure with a zealot's gaze, leads his knights through shattered gates, their crosses gleaming like divine mandates, yet you sense the slow-burn suspense as their triumph morphs into a relentless storm. Picture the city's narrow streets, where Muslim and Jewish families flee, their whispered prayers drowned by the rhythmic roar of Crusader swords, their lives erased in a tide of sanctified chaos. The chroniclers, you notice, weave tales of divine victory, but the stones whisper of a crimson dawn, tens of thousands slain, their bodies piled in sacred squares, a poetic paradox of salvation through slaughter. Did Godfrey see his conquest as God's will, or did ambition cloak his fervor in holy rhetoric? The suspense tightens as you step through blood-slicked alleys, each corner a cliffhanger, revealing the scale of this massacre, its details buried to preserve the Crusades' mythic glory. Imagine a child clutching a tattered shawl, her eyes wide with terror, her fate unwritten, much like the silenced voices of Rhineland, Ma'ara, and Antioch. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Emico's betrayals, and Bohemond's desperate sieges weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Jerusalem's horrors as the pinnacle of the First Crusade's veiled carnage. You pause at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, its sanctity defiled by the screams of the vanquished, each cry a rhetorical question. How could faith justify such ruin? Who ensured these truths stayed buried? The air grows heavy with the weight of erased lives, urging you toward the reflective pause that follows, where chivalry's fractured mirror will expose the Crusades' sanitized myths. The slow-burn rhythm of this mystery deepens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where holy wars conceal a ledger of suppressed terrors. The forgotten atrocities, from Rhineland's valleys to Jerusalem's ramparts, pulse with eerie life, their erasure a deliberate act to uphold a divine facade. Each step through the city feels like a descent into a darker truth, foreshadowing the Second Crusade's elusive failures. Will you linger in Jerusalem's crimson shadow, or press on to confront the myths that cloak these horrors? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where faith's fervor hides a growing tapestry of concealed massacres and human suffering. You pause in the reflective lull of 1100, the First Crusade's dust settling over Jerusalem's bloodied stones, where the Crusades' holy wars birthed myths of knightly honor. Yet you ponder the fractured mirror of chivalry, its gleaming tales concealing hidden atrocities as chroniclers' speculative omissions bury the human toll. The air hums with the scent of myrrh and fading war cries, as figures like Godfrey of Bouillon, now a mythic defender of the faith, loom larger than life, their crosses polished by songs of valor. But you sense the eerie dissonance beneath. Picture a weary pilgrim, his hands stained from Jerusalem's crimson dawn, whispering doubts in a candlelit chapel, his story of indiscriminate slaughter erased to uphold the sanctified narrative. The chroniclers, you notice, weave poetic sagas of divine triumph, yet their pages skip the screams of Rhineland's Jews, Nicaea's captives, Ma'ara's starved, and Jerusalem's vanquished, their conspiratorial silence a deliberate veil over the Crusades' true cost. Did Godfrey believe his legend? Or did he see the cracks in chivalry's facade? The slow-burn suspense builds as you wander through Outremer's nascent kingdoms, each castle a symbol of conquest, yet haunted by the ghosts of erased lives, mothers, children, elders whose fates linger in unwritten margins, much like those lost in Peter's chaotic march, or Emiko's betrayals. The rhythmic clink of armor contrasts with the silence of suppressed truths, each step a cliffhanger pulling you deeper into the mystery of what chivalry conceals. Imagine a knight's widow, her eyes hollow as she mourns a husband glorified in song, yet ignorant of the horrors he wrought, her grief a mirror to the untold suffering of the Crusades' victims. The echoes of Constantinople's distrust, Antioch's desperation, and Ma'ara's forbidden hunger weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres exposing the paradox of honor-cloaking carnage. You stand before a crumbling Crusader banner, its faded cross a rhetorical question. How could chivalry justify such ruin? Who chose which stories endured? The air grows heavy with the weight of these omissions, urging you toward Damascus's elusive shadow, where the Second Crusade's failures will deepen the narrative's ominous pulse. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, from Rhineland's valleys to Jerusalem's ramparts, pulse with mythic life, their erasure a calculated act to preserve a divine myth. Each reflection feels like a descent into an abyss where faith and ambition collide, foreshadowing new betrayals in the Holy War's next chapter. Will you linger in chivalry's fractured glow, or press on to confront the Second Crusade's veiled reprisals? The narrative's slow burn rhythm quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusade's sanctified lies, where knightly honor hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and human suffering. You wander the sun-scorched paths of the Second Crusade in 1148, where the Crusade's holy wars falter beneath Damascus's towering walls, the air thick with dust and disillusion, as Louis VII and Conrad III's ambitions crumble, concealing lesser-known reprisals against locals in a conspiratorial veil that perpetuates the illusion of restrained conflict. Louis, a fervent king with a trembling crown, and Conrad, his Germanic resolve fraying, lead their armies through arid hills, their crosses gleaming with hope. Yet you sense the slow-burn tension of failure, where zeal curdles into frustration. Picture a Damascene merchant, his wares scattered in the chaos, his whispered pleas for mercy drowned by the rhythmic clash of swords, his fate erased to uphold the myth of chivalric restraint. The chroniclers, you notice, gloss over these reprisals, villages razed, innocents caught in the Crusaders' retreat, their silence, a deliberate shroud over the Crusades' hidden atrocities. Did Louis and Conrad know their failure would spark such vengeance? Or were they blind to the human toll of their faltering quest? The suspense tightens as you trace their retreat, each step a cliffhanger revealing the cost of ambition, where faith's fervor turns predatory against the vulnerable. Imagine a mother clutching her child in a shadowed alley, their silhouettes fading into the dust of defeat, their story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Rhineland, Ma'ara, and Jerusalem. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Louis's failed ambitions weave a continuous thread. their forgotten massacres amplifying the Second Crusade's veiled horrors. You pause at a shattered olive grove, its twisted branches a poetic paradox of peace, destroyed by holy war. Each broken limb a rhetorical question. Why did these reprisals vanish from history? Who profited from their erasure? The air grows heavy with the scent of smoke and regret, urging you toward Hatton's ominous horns, where Saladin's triumph will deepen the Crusade's dark tapestry. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery tightens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where faith and failure collide. The Crusade's hidden atrocities, from Rhineland's valleys to Damascus's elusive shadow, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of suppressed suffering merchants, farmers, families bearing down as the Holy War's facade cracks further. The Second Crusade's failure, you realize, is no mere setback but a continuation of a pattern where defeat breeds brutality cloaked in divine purpose. Will you follow the Crusaders to Hatton's arid plains, where new betrayals await, or will Damascus's ghostly echoes hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusade's holy wars, where chivalry's fractured mirror hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased lives. You stand amid the arid plains of Hatton in 1187, where the Crusade's holy wars tremble under the scorching sun, the air pulsing with the ominous horns of Saladin's triumph, shattering Crusader holds and igniting retaliatory undercurrents that fuel the Third Crusade's veiled aggressions, drawing you deeper into a cycle of hidden atrocities. Saladin, a mythic commander with eyes like desert storms, outmaneuvers Guy of Lusignan's parched army, their crosses wilting in the heat, yet you sense the slow burn suspense as victory's aftermath brews a darker storm. Picture a Crusader knight, his armor cracked, staggering through dust-choked gullies, his whispered oaths drowned by the rhythmic thunder of Saracen hooves, his comrades' fates erased to cloak the defeat's brutal reprisals. The chroniclers, you notice, weave tales of Saladin's mercy, but the sands whisper of executed captives and ravaged villages, their erasure a conspiratorial veil over the Crusade's sanctified narrative. Did Saladin's triumph spark these retaliations, or did the Crusaders' desperation unleash their own fury? The suspense tightens as you trace the battle's aftermath. Each scorched tent, a cliffhanger hinting at the Third Crusade's coming horrors. Imagine a Muslim villager, her home reduced to ash in the Crusaders' retreat, her child's cries silenced, much like the erased lives of Rhineland, Ma'ara, and Damascus. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Louis's failed ambitions weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Hatton's obscured retaliations. You pause at a shattered water jug, its fragments a poetic paradox of life denied in a holy war's name, each shard a rhetorical question. Why were these reprisals buried? Who shaped the myth of noble defeat? The air grows heavy with the scent of blood and betrayal, urging you toward Ayadia's betrayed truce, where new aggressions will deepen the Crusade's dark tapestry. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery intensifies, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where faith and vengeance collide. The Crusade's hidden atrocities, from Jerusalem's ramparts to Hatton's plains, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of suppressed suffering knights, villagers, families bearing down as the Holy War's facade cracks further. Saladin's victory, you realize, is no mere turning point but a catalyst, exposing the cycle of retaliation that defines the Crusade's veiled horrors. Will you follow the Crusaders to Ayadia's sands, where broken promises will birth new massacres, or will Hatton's ominous echoes hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusade's holy wars, where chivalry's fractured mirror hides a growing ledger of concealed carnage and erased lives. You stand on the sun-bleached sands near Acre in 1191, where the Crusade's holy wars pulse with the bitter sting of betrayal, as Richard the Lionheart's broken negotiations unleash a chilling execution of captives at Ayadia, a deliberate act masked as strategy. Its hidden atrocities suppressed in lionized accounts of chivalric warfare. Richard, A towering king with a warrior's glare strides across the dunes, his cross emblazoned with royal pride. Yet you sense the slow-burn suspense as his failed truce with Saladin turns deadly, the air thick with the scent of salt and dread. Picture a Muslim captive, bound and kneeling, his whispered pleas for mercy drowned by the rhythmic crash of waves, his fate erased to uphold the myth of Richard's noble crusade. The chroniclers, you notice, weave tales of strategic necessity, but the sands whisper of thousands slaughtered men, women, children, their lives snuffed out in a calculated display, a conspiratorial veil cloaking the Third Crusade's darker truths. Did Richard's ambition outweigh his honor? Or was this massacre a cold tactic to cow his foes? The suspense tightens as you trace the blood-soaked dunes, each footprint a cliffhanger revealing the cost of broken promises, where faith's fervor twists into vengeance. Imagine a widow's anguished cry, her husband among the fallen, her grief unwritten, much like the silenced voices of Rhineland, Ma'ara, and Hatton. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Saladin's betrayed truce weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Ayadia's obscured horror. You pause at a discarded scimitar, its blade dulled by sand, a poetic paradox of peace shattered by holy war. Each glint a rhetorical question. Why was this betrayal buried? Who shaped the legend of the Lionheart? The air grows heavy with the weight of erased lives, urging you toward Zara's diverted fury, where the Crusade's sanctity will fray further. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery deepens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where chivalry and cruelty collide. The Crusade's hidden atrocities, from Jerusalem's ramparts to Ayadia's sands, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of suppressed suffering captives, families, hopes bearing down as the Holy Wars' facade cracks wider. Richard's betrayal, you realize, is no anomaly but a continuation of a pattern where strategic necessity cloaks deliberate carnage in divine purpose. Will you follow the Crusaders to Zara's Christian shores, where new treacheries await, or will Ayadia's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusade's holy wars, where chivalric myths hide a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. You shift to the windswept Adriatic shores in 1202, where the Crusade's holy wars twist into a labyrinth of betrayal, as the Fourth Crusade, swayed by Venetian intrigue, pivots to sack Zara, a Christian city. Its hidden atrocities, a conspiratorial deviation from sacred vows, foreshadowing greater treacheries in the maze of imperial politics. Enrico Dandolo, Venice's blind doge with a serpent's cunning, steers the Crusader fleet, his silken promises cloaking ambition, while you sense the slow-burn suspense as holy purpose frays into mercenary chaos. Picture a Zaran fisherman, his nets abandoned, fleeing through cobblestone streets as Crusader swords flash, his whispered prayers drowned by the rhythmic crash of siege engines, his home erased to uphold the myth of divine mission. The chroniclers, you notice, veil this sacrilege in tales of necessity, but Zara's burning spires whisper of deliberate plunder, a calculated betrayal buried to uphold the Crusade's sanctified facade. Did Dandolo orchestrate this diversion for profit, or was he a pawn in a larger imperial game? The suspense tightens as you wander Zara's shattered walls, each flame-licked stone a cliffhanger, revealing the cost of diverted fury, where faith's fervor turns on its own. Imagine a mother shielding her child in a church's shadow, their silhouettes fading into the smoke, their story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Rhineland, Ayadia, and Jerusalem. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Richard's betrayed truce weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Zara's obscured horror. You pause at a splintered altar, its cross toppled, a poetic paradox of sanctity defiled by holy war, each crack a rhetorical question. Why was this Christian city forsaken? Who profited from its erasure? The air grows heavy with the scent of ash and ambition, urging you toward Constantinople's golden ruin, where the Crusade's treachery will deepen. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery intensifies, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where faith and greed collide. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, from Ma'ara's ruins to Zara's shores, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of suppressed suffering fissures, families, faithful bearing down as the Holy War's facade cracks wider. Zara's sack, you realize, is no anomaly, but a continuation of a pattern, where divine vows cloak calculated carnage. Will you sail to Constantinople's gleaming walls, where greater betrayals await? Or will Zara's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where chivalric myths hide a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. You breach the majestic walls of Constantinople in 1204, where the Crusades' holy wars unravel into a storm of betrayal, as crusaders under Enrico Dandolo's cunning ravage Byzantium's orthodox heart, their plunder and desecrations cloaked in justifications of unity, revealing hidden atrocities that expose the paradox of faith turned inward upon itself. Dandolo, the blind Venetian doge with a voice like whispered silk, orchestrates this Fourth Crusade's descent, his ambition veiled as divine will, while you feel the slow-burn suspense as golden domes crumble under crusader greed. Picture a Byzantine priest, his robes torn, fleeing through marble halls as icons shatter, his whispered prayers drowned by the rhythmic clang of looting swords, his city's sanctity erased to uphold the myth of crusading unity. The chroniclers, you notice, mask this sacrilege with tales of necessity, but the scorched mosaics whisper of churches defiled and innocents slain, a conspiratorial silence burying the Crusades' darkest betrayal. Did Dandolo plan this ruin for Venice's gain, or was he swept into a larger imperial conspiracy? The suspense tightens as you wander the smoldering Hagia Sophia, each shattered relic a cliffhanger, revealing the cost of faith's inversion, where holy vows fuel unholy carnage. Imagine a mother clutching her child amid the chaos, their silhouettes fading into the smoke, their story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Zara, Ayodhya, and Jerusalem. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Richard's betrayed truce weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Constantinople's golden ruin. You pause at a toppled statue, its marble eyes blind to the horror, a poetic paradox of divine mission destroying its own kin. Each crack a rhetorical question: how could faith justify such betrayal? Who ensured this devastation was forgotten? The air grows heavy with the scent of incense and ash, urging you toward Languedoc's verdant hills, where the Crusades' wrath will turn on heretics. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery deepens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where sanctity and savagery collide. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, from Rhineland's valleys to Byzantium's halls, pulse with mythic life. Their erasure, a calculated act to preserve a holy facade. Each step feels heavier, the weight of suppressed suffering, priests, families, faithful bearing down as the Holy War's myth crumbles further. Constantinople's sack, you realize, is no aberration but a culmination, where greed cloaks itself in divine purpose. Will you venture to the Albigensian Crusade's southern vale, where new horrors await? Or will Byzantium's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where unity's promise hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. You venture into the verdant hills of Languedoc in 1209, where the Crusades' holy wars morph into a chilling hunt under the Albigensian Crusade's banner. Papal decrees against Cathars cloaking systematic campaigns of hidden atrocities, their rhythmic tension building toward the unveiling of regional erasures long eclipsed by Eastern narratives. Simon de Montfort, a stern lord with a zealot's fire, leads this crusade, his cross a symbol of divine judgment. Yet you sense the slow-burn suspense as his campaign turns villages into pyres, the air thick with the scent of burning herbs and fear. Picture a Cathar weaver, her loom abandoned, fleeing through vine-draped paths, her whispered defiance drowned by the rhythmic tramp of crusader boots, her fate erased to uphold the myth of purging heresy. The chroniclers, you notice, frame this as a righteous cleansing. But the scorched earth whispers of entire communities, men, women, children wiped out, their erasure a conspiratorial veil over the Crusades' sanctified violence. Did Simon believe his sword served God? Or was ambition cloaked in papal sanction? The suspense tightens as you wander Languedoc's rolling fields, each smoldering hamlet a cliffhanger revealing the cost of orthodoxy, where faith's fervor twists into systematic destruction. Imagine a mother hiding her child in a cave, their silhouettes fading into the dusk, their story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Rhineland, Jerusalem, and Constantinople. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Dandelo's golden ruin weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying the Albigensian Crusade's obscured horrors. You pause at a charred olive tree, its twisted branches a poetic paradox of peace, ravaged by holy war. Each scorched leaf a rhetorical question. Why were these lives erased? Who profited from this southern veil? The air grows heavy with the weight of suppressed suffering, urging you toward Bézier's indiscriminate flame, where the Crusade's wrath will burn brighter. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery deepens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where piety and persecution collide. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, from Languedoc's hills to Constantinople's halls, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of erased lives, weavers, farmers, families bearing down as the Holy War's facade crumbles further. Simon's campaign, you realize, is no mere inquisition but a continuation of a pattern, where divine decrees cloak deliberate carnage. Will you press on to Bézier's fiery streets, where indiscriminate horror awaits, or will Languedoc's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where the fight against heresy hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. You stand in the sweltering summer of 1209 at Béziers, where the Crusades' holy wars blaze into a maelstrom of horror, the air thick with smoke, and the infamous command of Arnaud d'Amalric echoing through stone streets, his forces enacting a total obliteration that cloaks hidden atrocities. Its mythic "kill them all" refrain a chilling symbol of blurred lines between heretic and innocent. Arnaud, a papal legate with a voice like iron, leads Simon de Montfort's crusaders, their crosses gleaming with righteous fury. Yet you sense the slow burn suspense as their zeal consumes an entire city, leaving no soul spared. Picture a baker, his flour-dusted hands raised in surrender, his whispered pleas drowned by the rhythmic roar of flames and swords, his life erased to uphold the Albigensian Crusade's sanctified myth. The chroniclers, you notice, shroud this massacre in vague justifications. But Bézier's charred stones whisper of 20,000 slain Cathars, Catholics, children indiscriminately burned, a conspiratorial silence veiling the Crusade's darkest hour. Did Arnaud's command spring from faith, or was it a calculated purge to instill fear? The suspense tightens as you wander through blazing streets, each collapsing rooftop a cliffhanger revealing the cost of unchecked zeal, where holy war devours its own. Imagine a mother clutching her infant, their silhouettes swallowed by fire, their story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Rhineland, Constantinople, and Jerusalem. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Dandelo's golden ruin weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Bézier's indiscriminate horror. You pause at a smoldering church, its bells melted into silence, a poetic paradox of sanctuary turned pyre, each ash flake a rhetorical question. How could faith justify such ruin? Who ensured this carnage was forgotten? The air grows heavy with the weight of erased lives, urging you toward Minerva's fiery descent, where the Crusade's wrath will burn on. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery deepens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where piety and destruction collide. The Crusade's hidden atrocities, from Languedoc's hills to Bézier's flames, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of suppressed suffering bakers, families, faithful bearing down as the holy war's facade crumbles further. Arnaud's infamous decree, you realize, is no aberration but a culmination of a pattern where divine mandates cloak deliberate carnage. Will you climb to Minerve's rugged cliffs, where new horrors await? Or will Bézier's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where the fight against heresy hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. You climb the rugged cliffs to Minerve in 1210, where the Crusades' holy wars cast a grim shadow over Languedoc's stone fortress, the air thick with the scent of dust and dread as Simon de Montfort's siege culminates in pyres for the unyielding, a speculative layer of hidden atrocities suggesting deliberate spectacles to instill terror, their records fragmented in ecclesiastical archives. Simon, his eyes burning with unyielding zeal, tightens the noose around the Cathar stronghold, his cross a symbol of divine wrath. Yet you sense the slow-burn suspense as his forces prepare a fiery reckoning, their chants echoing like a death knell. Picture a Cathar elder, his hands bound, standing defiant on a cliff's edge, his whispered prayers drowned by the rhythmic crackle of kindling, his fate erased to uphold the Albigensian Crusade's sanctified myth. The chroniclers, you notice, bury this horror in vague allusions, but Minerve's scorched stones whisper of hundreds burned alive, their screams a conspiratorial secret veiled to preserve the narrative of righteous purging. Did Simon orchestrate this pyre as a divine mandate, or was it a calculated act to break resistance? The suspense tightens as you traverse the siege's aftermath, each smoldering ember a cliffhanger revealing the cost of unrelenting faith, where holy war consumes the defiant and innocent alike. Imagine a young girl, her eyes wide with terror, watching flames rise, her family's story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Béziers, Constantinople, and Jerusalem. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Arnaud's indiscriminate flame weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Minerve's fiery horror. You pause at a charred cliffside shrine, its relics reduced to ash, a poetic paradox of salvation through destruction. Each cinder, a rhetorical question. Why were these lives erased? Who ensured their suffering was forgotten? The air grows heavy with the weight of suppressed anguish, urging you toward Marmont's lamented echo, where the Crusade's wrath will deepen. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery intensifies, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where piety and terror collide. The Crusade's hidden atrocities, from Rhineland's valleys to Minerve's cliffs, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of erased lives, elders, families, faithful bearing down as the holy war's facade crumbles further. Simon's pyres, you realize, are no mere punishment, but a continuation of a pattern where divine justice cloaks deliberate spectacles of fear. Will you press on to Marmonde's ravaged fields, where new horrors await? Or will Minerve's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where the fight against heresy hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. You traverse to Marmont's ravaged fields in 1219, where the Crusades' holy wars roar with unrelenting fury, the air thick with the scent of trampled earth and ash, as Louis VIII's army inflicts a comprehensive devastation, its hidden atrocities woven with metaphors of divine judgment, yet concealed in the broader tapestry of reconquest, leaving rhetorical questions about the price of orthodoxy. Louis, a crowned zealot with a gaze like cold steel, leads his forces through Languedoc's heart, his cross a banner of papal might. Yet you sense the slow burn suspense as his campaign razes a city, its streets echoing with despair. Picture a farmer, his hands clutching a broken plow, fleeing through burning fields, his whispered cries drowned by the rhythmic thunder of crusader hooves, his fate erased to uphold the Albigensian Crusade's sanctified myth. The chroniclers, you notice, cloak this massacre in tales of divine retribution, but Marmonde's scorched earth whispers of thousands slain men, women, children swept away in a frenzy of orthodoxy, their erasure a conspiratorial veil over the Crusade's darker truths. Did Louis see his conquest as God's will, Or was it a calculated purge to cement his legacy? The suspense tightens as you wander through smoldering ruins, each collapsed home a cliffhanger, revealing the cost of unrelenting faith, where holy war devours the innocent alongside the defiant. Imagine a mother, her child pressed close, their silhouettes fading into the smoke, their story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Béziers, Minerve, and Constantinople. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Simon's fiery pyres weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying Marmond's lamented horror. You pause at a shattered millstone, its cracks a poetic paradox of sustenance destroyed by divine mandate, each fracture a rhetorical question. Why were these lives erased? Who profited from this silent ruin? The air grows heavy with the weight of suppressed suffering, urging you toward the Baltic's forgotten frontiers, where the Crusades' wrath will shift to new lands. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery deepens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where piety and destruction collide. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, from Languedoc's hills to Marmon's fields, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, the weight of erased lives, farmers, families, faithful bearing down, as the Holy War's facade crumbles further. Lewis' devastation, you realize, is no mere conquest but a continuation of a pattern where divine judgment cloaks deliberate carnage. Will you journey to the Baltic's rugged shores, where new horrors await? Or will Marmond's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where orthodoxy's price hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. Uncover more Crusaders' hidden atrocities and forgotten massacres behind holy wars. Subscribe now for immersive historical mysteries, dramatic revelations on medieval conspiracies, and poetic dives into shadowed pasts. Like if these holy wars horrors gripped you, comment your thoughts on erased histories, and share to expose the truth. Dive deeper into Crusades' massacres today. You extend northward to the Baltic's rugged shores in the 12th century, where the Crusades' holy wars unfold in the shadow of icy forests, the air sharp with the scent of pine and fear as the Teutonic Order's campaigns against pagans weave hidden atrocities, their subjugations in Prussia and Livonia overshadowed by the Holy Land's glare, hinting at a wider web of suppressed expansions. The Teutonic Knights, led by figures like Hermann von Salza, their crosses gleaming with iron resolve, march through frozen mires, yet you sense the slow burn suspense as their divine mission cloaks brutal conquest. Picture a Prussian villager, his wooden idol shattered, fleeing through snow-dusted pines, his whispered pleas drowned by the rhythmic clang of armored boots, his fate erased to uphold the myth of Christian triumph. The chroniclers, you notice, bury these northern massacres in sparse accounts, their silence a conspiratorial veil over the Crusades' broader horrors, prioritizing Jerusalem's saga over Baltic blood. Did Hermann believe his sword forged salvation, or was it power cloaked in piety? The suspense tightens as you traverse frostbitten hamlets, each burned longhouse a cliffhanger, revealing the cost of forced conversion where faith's fervor consumes the defiant. Imagine a mother clutching her child in a snowbound hut, their silhouettes fading into the blizzard, their story unwritten, much like the silenced lives of Marmond, Béziers, and Constantinople. The echoes of Peter's chaotic march, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Louis's fiery ruin weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying the Baltic's obscured horrors. You pause at a toppled runestone, its carvings defaced, a poetic paradox of sacred mission destroying sacred lives, each crack a rhetorical question. Why were these northern souls erased? Who ensured their suffering was forgotten? The air grows heavy with the weight of suppressed anguish, urging you toward the legacy's eternal abyss, where the Crusades' truths converge. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery deepens, each revelation pulling you into an abyss where piety and conquest collide. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, from Languedoc's hills to Prussia's frontiers, pulse with mythic life, their conspiratorial silence demanding you uncover the truth. Each step feels heavier, The weight of erased lives, villagers, families, pagans bearing down as the Holy War's facade crumbles further. The Teutonic campaigns, you realize, are no mere sideshow but a continuation of a pattern where divine mandates cloak systematic subjugation. Will you step into the final reflection, where the Crusades' legacy whispers warnings, or will the Baltic's ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse quickens, its open loops beckoning you to peel back the layers of the Crusades' holy wars, where the fight for faith hides a growing ledger of concealed massacres and erased human suffering. You emerge from history's shadowed corridors, standing at the edge of the Crusades' legacy in 2025, where the air hums with the weight of centuries, the conspiratorial silences of hidden atrocities whispering warnings that echo in modern divisions, leaving an open loop on whether the veils of these holy wars' forgotten massacres can ever fully lift. The ghosts of Peter's chaotic march, Emico's Rhineland betrayals, Godfrey's crimson dawn, and Simon's fiery purges linger, their erased lives, Jews, Muslims, Christians, pagans forming a mythic tapestry of suffering cloaked by sanctified myths. Picture a scholar in a dimly lit archive, her fingers tracing faded chronicles, her whispered questions drowned by the rhythmic pulse of history's omissions, her search for truth a mirror to your own. The chronicler's silence, you realize, is no accident but a deliberate shroud, burying the Crusades' horrors, Rhineland's screams, Ma'ara's hunger, Constantinople's ruin, and Marmonde's devastation to preserve a divine facade. Did leaders like Urban II, Richard, or Louis foresee their zeal's enduring scars, or were they blind to the human toll? The suspense lingers as you stand before a cracked cathedral window, its stained glass a poetic paradox of faith's beauty masking carnage, each shard a rhetorical question. Why do these silences persist? Who benefits from history's selective memory? The echoes of Baltic frontiers, Bézier's flames, and Ayadier's betrayed truce weave a continuous thread, their forgotten massacres amplifying the Crusades' eternal abyss. Imagine a descendant of Languedoc's Cathars, her eyes searching for ancestors, lost to Simon's pyres, her story unwritten, much like the silenced lives across centuries. The slow burn rhythm of this mystery reaches its climax, each revelation pulling you deeper into an abyss where faith's fervor collides with human suffering. The Crusades' hidden atrocities, from Jerusalem's ramparts to Prussia's icy shores, pulse with eerie life, their conspiratorial erasure demanding you confront their legacy. Each reflection feels heavier, the weight of suppressed voices, villagers, captives, heretics bearing down as the Holy War's myths crumble. This legacy, you see, is no mere historical footnote but a warning. Its speculative ties to modern divisions, cultural rifts, religious strife hinting at cycles unbroken. The air grows thick with the scent of aged parchment and unresolved grief, urging you to question whether these truths can ever be fully unveiled. Will you carry these whispers forward, sharing the Crusades' concealed horrors, or will their ghostly cries hold you in their reverent grip? The narrative's mythic pulse slows, its open loops leaving you at the edge of revelation, beckoning you to explore further. The Crusades' holy wars, you realize, live on in silence, their erased lives a challenge to uncover, their legacy an eternal abyss where faith's promise hides a ledger of concealed massacres and enduring human suffering. As you withdraw from the manuscript's glow, the concealed carnage of Crusades' massacres lingers like sanctified soil over buried bones. These hidden atrocities behind holy wars, deliberate erasures, preserving myths echo in today's divided world, a conspiratorial silence begging revelation. Explore more forgotten Crusades horrors, medieval mysteries, and dramatic holy wars truths in our channel. What secrets will you unearth next?